Welcome to the Best You podcast, where we explore the journey of inner peace, harmony, and joy that comes from living authentically. Every week, we will dive into transformative conversations that describe both the way you can create behavioral change for yourself and how to create the conditions that promote peace, harmony, and joy around you. Whether you're seeking balance, deeper relationships, or a spark of inspiration, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Best You. In today's episode, Scott and I are going to discuss leadership during times of great challenge. Leadership is one of my favorite topics, and I'm sure it is for Scott as well. And sometimes leadership can look really easy and be easy, especially when you have a group of people who are really passionate and they're well suited to their role, and everybody's marching to the same drummer. And then leadership can be really easy, but leadership can also look easy, but not be easy at all. This is one of the paradoxes that I sense with leadership and management. When it's effective, the leader or manager often makes it look easy. And then people go, well, what are you doing? How are you contributing to this? Except for when things head south, then they take the blame. But what we want to talk about today is when their leadership during times of great challenge. And I'm 60, I'm turning 61 this year. I think this is the year that I have seen, at least in my adult life, more challenge than I have ever seen before and have ever imagined. And what we have is a time of great change. And whether you think it's crisis or opportunity, either way, those are both very hard. Probably they're both, as most things are. And so the question is that how do we as individuals or we as leaders move and to make sense and to manage ourselves and help others during times of great transition? So I really wanted to ask one of my favorite leaders, who is Scott here, about his thoughts about leadership during times of great challenge. What do you want to say about that, Scott? It's such a big topic.
Yeah, it is a great topic. It's a big topic. And, I'll just simply say this. I have, led organizations for many years, and I enjoy it. But I will say it's one of the hardest things that I do. And is especially in times of challenge, right? Everybody knows that I'm the big peace, harmony, and joy guy, right? I believe everybody should have as much joy as possible. I believe we're here to experience joy within ourselves and with others. I also believe that when we're in this place of joy, that we'll actually do our best. We'll have our best results. We'll have our most successes, and it's just a great feeling. However, I will tell you, in a challenge, it's kind of hard to find joy, or that's they're to some extent, people will say they're an oxymoron. But I would say this, and I'm a work in progress. And the bigger the challenge, you can say, the harder it is. The thing I just encourage everybody to do when they're in a challenge is to find calm. And I think so many times when people have a challenge, their brain starts spinning. They just, there's all these thoughts that go around in their heads, and they start thinking, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? They start thinking, oh my gosh, remember when that happened? How did that feel? I mean, all these things, and they're, and then all these options. And I think when your head is spinning, when you're feeling anxiety and you're just, you got all these thoughts in your head, you're clearly not going to have joy, because it's really going to drive a lot of anxiety. And even more importantly, you're not going to, I think, have anywhere close to the success that you should to get you out of the challenge. And so, just the fundamental point I will make is, if you're in a challenge, I think the number one thing you've got to do is find a way to have peace in your mind. And again, you can, our book, Less Stress, More Joy, talks about this, and there's lots of ways to find peace. One could be faith. I mean, you could just simply tell yourself, faith in God, faith in the universe, it doesn't matter what religion you are, if you have faith that everything happens for a good reason, then you can literally get your brain to calm down, and you can just simply say, I don't understand it. I don't know how this is all going to work out, but I trust that it's going to work out, and I'm going to learn, and this is all for the good. And that, I think, helps a lot of people just find the peace. But if you don't want to do faith, hey, do some Pilates, meditate, do some breath work, do yoga. I mean, there's lots of ways to find peace. I just encourage you to find it, and then you can build from there. I'm going to go back to you, Sanna, but I think peace is the key to getting through the challenge. If you don't, your brain just cannot navigate.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, I feel like you and I both know that from our lived experience, and the research will uphold that as well. Because if our brains are in fight, flight, or freeze mode, and we're having a lot of cortisol, then our cognitive function goes down, and we're not making as good of decisions. We're not able to take in as much information and process it and find the best path forward. And we're often going to be in defensive mode or reactive mode or something like that, instead of finding the best path forward. And I also want to just really emphasize that the importance of leaders as being focused on the human part of the equation. There's a really great leadership assessment called the Leadership Circle. I'm certified in that, and there's something like 29 different domains in which they measure, and roughly half of them are associated with effective leadership, and the other half less so. But then, so if you just think of the top and the bottom, if they're in a circle, the half above are positively associated, and the bottom more like negatively associated, but it's not a perfect correlation. But then there's like one half of the circle is about task, skills related to task, and the other half are skills related to relationships and people. And so, as leaders, it is just as important to be managing and thinking about the human element, because if you're in a crisis situation, then probably your team is as well. And so this is even more important during crisis, that the leader and everybody really are taking care of themselves and each other, because we're less likely to get through the crisis effectively if we're fighting with each other, or if it's every person for themselves. So we really have to work together, because all of our gifts and talents are needed to find the best pathway forward. And like Scott said, I'm a huge believer in a mindfulness practice. I'm also a person who's a person of faith, so that's also very important to me. And I think both of those speak to keeping a perspective, an appropriate perspective on what's happening. And I used to be in crisis, living from crisis to crisis all the time, and they were crises of my own perception. Oh my God, I'm going to be late. This is a terrible thing. I mean, in hindsight, it's just ridiculous. But, we have these inner narratives that have us like in this stress response over the smallest things. And so I'm not trying to say that our modern world, we're overreacting to small things. There are some really big things going on. And we also don't have to make them bigger than they are, because some of the things that we are reacting to may not be as big as we believe them to be. Or we may not be looking for the opportunity that's being presented and just looking at the problems. So having that inner peace and bringing our best cognition forward, taking the big picture view of it, looking for the opportunity while also managing the setbacks and the challenges, can be a healthier approach and more effective than just knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was just going to add to that. So again, I think when you do have the peace, what it allows you to do is to see all it's funny. the other piece, all the pieces on the board. So when you have peace, when you're at calm, you actually, it's amazing how your mind and your eyes can open to everything. And again, especially if you have faith and you believe that everything happens for a good reason. And I liked what Sana said, that, is it a crisis, or is it just a crisis in your head, but it's really an opportunity, and it's going to help you grow. But if you're at peace, I believe what you're able to do is to see all the pieces on the board, and the goal, I think, is to move them around and make music with them. Literally get them in harmony. And I will just say this: I continue to be amazed when I have these situations, and I still got to catch myself sometimes. When I'm at calm, I consistently seem to see how, this person, what do I need? Oh, this person can do that. Oh, what do I need? Oh, there's that, project that we're working on that'll be perfect. I mean, there's all these things that are going on, and if you're calm and you've got the situation, you can just see like a chess master how to make all the pieces move, and how you can win the game. And I think that's the fun. I mean, if you play life like a game, every single situation, it's no different than being in a football game or a soccer match or anything. Business is a sport. I mean, I just encourage everybody to just like stay calm and just look at all the pieces you have, all the players, all the assets, and just put it out there in a thoughtful way. And be in the moment. It's one thing to have the calm and have the harmony, all the pieces moving together. Be in the moment. I still think there's so many people that are calm and they have all the pieces moving, but they're still have their mind wandering. Oh my gosh, what if this doesn't work? Remember what happened last time? Or, oh my gosh, what are people going to say in the future? Doesn't matter. Be in the moment with it, and you'll be amazed not only how it works and gets you out of the situation, but how joyful it will be as you learn and you have these wonderful experiences.
Yeah, those are some really great points. And even before I was a person of faith, I used to do that. Even when I was I had a lot of perfectionism and overthinking, like all that crazy stuff. Like, oh my God, this little thing is happening and it's terrible. Like I was just constantly in that mode. But, to like be really in the present moment. And I wasn't a meditator back then either, but like going, oh my gosh, this is huge, and just sitting super still, letting my head clear, feeling into my body, and just allowing like my inner wisdom to come forth. And to just listen to myself, listen to my heart, listen to my body, listen to my deep inner sense of what's most important right now. Because in my head, I'm going, this isn't right. I have to fix this. This is bad. So-and-so's bad. I'm bad, 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 terrible, must, have to, should, always, never, all of those words that I love to use. And when I get underneath all of that, I can really sense like what really matters to me here, and I don't want to escalate. I don't want to deepen the conflict. I don't want to judge people. I don't want to judge myself. What's the kind, compassionate thing to do? Where are my boundaries? What is my inner truth? And so getting really quiet, especially going out into nature can really help clear the head and the mind so that we can get into our body and what really matters. Because, in the end, we all want the same thing. And, we're all human at heart. We want to have a good life. We want to feel seen and heard and safe and loved. It just boils down to that. And when we connect to that deeper part of ourselves of what matters the most, what we're here to do, that we can find our way through confusion and complexity and chaos. And maybe if it's just one baby step at a time, one breath at a time, we can find our way.
Yeah, that's excellent. And, I want to build on that because I do think when you are fully, again, in this kind of calm and you're letting the harmony and the joy take over, I think what you're going to have is this kind of this flow. And I think so many times when people are in a challenging situation, they're like, even if they're calm, they're like, they want to just see every piece. They want to see exactly what's going to happen. And they're just very mechanical, and they're like really like almost overthinking it. But I like what Sanna was saying. I mean, if you just kind of let it flow, it's amazing how much we have inside us, how powerful our brains are, even our bodies. And if you just let it flow, just go with it. You'll be amazed how you will come up with ideas and suggestions that you never like. How did I come up with that? Where did I learn that?
Yeah.
But you just part of it's a faith, part of it's part of it's even having had other good experiences. You build a confidence. It's just amazing. All of us are special. All of us have unique skills and talents. All of us have this magic inside of us. And I'll tell you, I think that the trick is to unlock it.
Yeah. Yeah. And oftentimes those come to us when we are willing to open up our minds and hearts. Because when we're focused like this is wrong, this is bad, this is terrible, must always, never, should, must, have to, it's very closed. And when we open that up and we just clear away, we're willing to step away from all those beliefs, then all of these insights and realizations and resources and pathways and strategies can start to come in. And so it pretty much always works for me. I mean, that's not to say that I'm one and done. Like I might have to do that 3 or 4 times over a certain issue, especially as it evolves. But just getting out of my rigid thinking and then opening it up and just knowing that the path is there. And if I just am open to it, I can find it. And as Scott says, I mean, I sort of think of it as like getting onto the balcony and getting the big picture, a bird's eye view. And then you can get a larger view of everything. You can see how it fits together or what you've missed and then where you can go. It's really kind of magical in a way. And as I was saying before, even back when I was really in my head, I could always, when there was a big decision, I could always find what was right for me. So I just, I would encourage you to trust your gut, trust what you think is right. And get into that practice of clearing whatever mechanism that works for you.
Yeah, we all have such amazing potential, and I like what Sanna's saying because our mind is so powerful, and our mind really has the ability to look at something as a challenge or as an opportunity. And if it's a challenge, you're automatically gonna be, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, how do I get out of this? I don't want to drown. I mean, you're gonna be like in that kind of like survival mode. But if you're in the opportunity, and I promise you, every challenge you have is an opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn. And by the way, in business and industry, your competitors are probably going through the same things. Some of them are going to fall away, but the great ones are this is going to be the opportunity to move up. And it's amazing to me. I just encourage everybody to try to get their mind into opportunity mode, and every single thing you're doing. And as Sanna was saying, it may take you 2 or 3 or 4 times to get to the results you want. But that's not the point. I mean, that's part of the journey. That's part of the joyful journey, if you allow it to be. But the point is that everything that goes on is an opportunity to grow and to live your best life.
Right. Challenge is opportunity. They're one and the same. And so when we hold them both, then we can really learn to grow to become our biggest and best selves, our best you. So I hope you'll consider exploring some of the resources, including the Less Stress, More Joy book and the platform at the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. We're going to be having a mindfulness-based stress reduction course coming out soon, as well as trauma and resilience course, among many other things. So deepen your knowledge of yourself and your path to becoming the best you with us. And thanks for joining us today.
Wishing you the best. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to the Best You podcast. We hope today's conversation sparked some new ways for you to cultivate your inner peace, connect meaningfully with others, and embrace the joy of living in harmony. Remember, being the best version of yourself isn't a destination. It's a daily practice of growth, reflection, and kindness to yourself and those around you. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it for you to subscribe, share it with somebody who'd benefit, and leave a review to help us spread the message of peace and joy. Stay connected, stay inspired, and we'll see you next time on The Best You.